It's the money on my mind segment. And in this case, I guess I should say lack of money. Grand Slam track and field has gone broke. Seems like it. I haven't heard anything to counteract that. But Grand Slam track and field has been reported by Front Office Sports to owe around $13 million to its athletes in prize money and appearance fees. $13 million is a lot of money. A lot of money. If you don't know what Grand Slam track and field is, this was the new startup, the new mega league started by Michael Johnson to, quote unquote, save the sport. This was track only. A lot of pushback there. Tara Davis Woodall and many other field events that love the field, like myself, were very opposed to why there was not any field events included. Michael Johnson responded he can't save all of it. I don't know if the sport ever needed saving. And I put out this on Instagram. I think that, and I said this respectfully because I respect everything that Michael Johnson has done on the track and for the sport, maybe besides this. And I appreciate the attempt, though. But I said this out on Instagram. Respectfully, I think the attempt to save the sport ultimately set the sport back even more. And if you saw any of the promotion of Grand Slam track and field, a lot of it was highlighted amongst how much money that they were going to be able to pay its athletes in this one-of-a-kind brand new league. 4 slams throughout the year. Started out in Jamaica, Miami, which I attended and covered, going on to Philly. And then last was supposed to be Los Angeles, California, which ultimately got canceled. And this is where all this stuff starts sparking about, is Grand Slam broke? Where's the money? Da-da-da-da-da. And like I said, I wanted this league to succeed. I didn't go out to Miami for no reason. I thought it was a great event. I thought it was set up well. I thought what they were doing was impactful for the athletes. I know many of the unsponsored athletes were benefiting or thought they were benefiting from it because of how much prize money they were able to pay out. First place, each event, or each of the 2 combined events, $100,000. That's a lot of money. Second place, $50,000, all the way down to 8th place with $10,000. I have a lot of friends who have competed in Grand Slam. Still going to follow up about them, about the financial status of if they're getting paid this money or not. But I wanted Grand Slam track to succeed. I still want it to succeed because I think it could be great for the sport. But I feel like Grand Slam track put the cart before the horse. You can't sell something that you don't have. I asked an investor while I was in Miami, hey, how sustainable is this league? You guys are giving out $3 million in prize money at every single slam. Where was this money beforehand? How all of a sudden can you have this much money to be able to put out to these athletes in 1 year? 4 slams in 1 year. That's a lot of money. And my response given to me was, you have to spend money to make money. They hope that it can be sustainable. So to me, it seemed like they had a mindset, but they had a thought process, as we should say, that they could have this thing to be sustainable for the long haul. But the media has gotten a hold of it in a negative light. And I think that it is ultimately going to cause the demise. I find it really hard to see Grand Slam come back in year 2. And I see it hard to come back effectively. You already didn't pick up some of the biggest names in track and field. No Sha'Carri, no Noah Lyles, no Grant Holloway, no Rai Benjamin. And people wondered, dang, why didn't they show up to this event? Why wouldn't they be a part of this big spark, this new league? You look at Sha'Carri, she's in Athlos, but she's not in Grand Slam. I just think that the way that they were trying to pull people in was drastically different. Grand Slam sold a false dream. Athlos isn't, respectfully, because I want both to succeed. But I find it really, really hard where you keep getting reports. Fast University, shout out to my guy over there, they reported that Grand Slam owes $77,000 for the rental fee of the facility in Miami. I was at that event. I was covering it, see some of the interviews that I've done down there. That was a great, great event. I saw Udonis Haslem pull up. Messiah Russell broke the American record in the hurdles. So much stuff was going on that was so positive, but we pushed back some months later. We realized that majority of these athletes didn't get paid from that event. The organization of Grand Slam didn't pay for the facility for the event. It's just so much negative. And my thing is this. say all of this is just false, because there's a lot of false reports in the media these days. A lot of people think they know stuff and they don't know anything. I saw Carl Lewis put out a comment and say, you guys need to relax and stop hating. It takes time for these fees to be processed or these prize money payments to be given out. Okay, it takes time. Carl Lewis has a lot more experience in competing and getting paid in professional track than I do. So I'm going to listen to his word. I was cool for it for a while until this happened. Grand Slam post out on their social media highlighting how well Gabby Thomas had done. I think it was a pretty cool edit, pretty cool picture, whatever the case may be. Her response was, "This is very cool, but please pay me." This is your runner. This is somebody who represents your brand, your league, is the face, one of the faces, and she's putting out publicly that you still owe her money. If you're not going to pay your own people who you signed up as racers, I doubt that these challengers are getting paid. Any challenger that competed in Grand Slam track, please comment below if you have received your prize money. That's all I want to know. We're going to let you speak. I feel like I'm going to be the type of media that's going to give and elevate the voice of the athletes. If you got paid, let me know. If you didn't get paid, let me know. Grand Slam track, I feel like if they come back in year 2, it's going to be very hard to get more investors. This is a red flag. You got front office sports talking about you in a negative manner. Front office sports are one of the biggest brands when it comes to the business side of sports out there. And they saying y'all broke. That's a problem. And my thing is this. Has Michael Johnson commented? I haven't seen any reports. You can't, when it's quiet, silence speaks volumes, guys. Silence speaks volumes. If somebody is saying that this happened and ain't nobody, no representation put out any statements, and you have your main people, the people who are supposed to be on your team, even saying that you aren't paying them, it's just bad. And honestly, guys, I think it might be over before it really got started. Which is a sad thing to do. And it's going to continue to revert back our sport. Send us back to the lone question of how do we continue to elevate track and field, and how do we get these athletes to get the pay that they deserve? How do we bring in more people? How do we bring in more money, basically? How do we bring in more revenue? Because these athletes who are Olympians, world champions, they don't need to be working extra jobs. They don't need to be coaching on the side or subbing at schools or anything like that to make ends meet. They need to be paid for the work that they put in, the type of athletes that they are, and what they provide to this world. Forget this every 4-year thing. These athletes are putting on every day. And I think that needs to be rewarded. Gonna figure out how. I think Athos is on the trajectory of building that slowly. And like I said, Grand Slam had it. Peacock deal, first year, that's pretty big. I just don't think that we should have put the cart before the horse. There's no reason that we need to be paying the athletes $100,000 right out the gate. And this is not saying that they don't deserve it. Not saying that at all. But you have to know your own limitations. Why not, hear me out, take some of that money that you claimed you had and promoted that you had, pay some of these artists, celebrities to show up. Bring more notoriety by leveraging those connections that you have. You might not even have to pay them. Like, you need to highlight all these other athletes that you know. I know Michael Johnson know a lot of athletes. I know some of these athletes competing know a lot of other athletes, other artists, celebrities, something. We were in Miami. I know somebody had a connection to DJ Khaled, Rick Ross. Who else is in Miami? Somebody called D Wade. It's Wade County. I just don't understand. And I love the sport of track and field, but I'm always keeping 100. Grand Slam oversold.